Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Eastside Hockey Manager with the Boston Bruins. And we are about a week away from the trade deadline. And let's just jump in. We'll kind of take a look at where we stand statistically. I made one other deal since we spoke last. We'll look at the stats. We'll look at that one trade, and then we'll go from there, and we'll see what we need to do as we get up to the trade deadline. So we're still sixth in the Eastern Conference, still third, I believe, in the Atlantic. Yep, behind Florida and Tampa. 5 points behind the Lightning and 13 behind the Panthers. Thankfully, the rest of the Atlantic division's really bad. So we're currently sitting sixth. Currently sitting sixth. Sorry, my phone just rang, and I'm taking a break right now. I'm doing recording. So, statistically, stats. We are being led by Taylor Hall, 53 points in 55 games. Hall and Pasta each with 24 goals on the season. Taylor Hall has been our best player. He's a plus 32 on the season. Average game rating of over 8. Pasta not that far behind, game rating of 7.89. He's got 24 goals as well. Bergeron, 34 points in 55 games. We've got an injured Brad Marchand again. He came back for 12 games, had 7 goals, 2 assists, and he is out for a little bit of time. I can't remember how long it is. It's here somewhere, right? Or is he back now? Oh, that's right. We had a break for the I think it was the Olympics or the All-Star game or something like that. So I got to get him back in the lineup. DeBrusk, 34 points in 54 games. Craig Smith, 32 in 55. Krejci, his last season. I mean, he has a plus 15, but the game rating is only a 6.5. He's a plus 15 because he's playing on that line with Hall. We had to do something about that second line center situation. Sebastian Aho has done a nice job since being acquired. Same with Hampus Lindholm. He's done a nice job this year for us, 7.3. Galchenyuk, 22 points in 47 games. He's a minus 8, though. Is somebody we may look to move here as we approach the deadline. Pavel Zacha hasn't had a good year. Excuse me, probably looking to move him as well. What does he want for a new contract? He wants 3 years at 3.5. I don't know. But we don't have much time to think about it, so we're going to have to decide here at some point. Statistical with 13 goals, his first full season in the NHL, but he is a minus 10. Although his average rating is just below average, so I'm not terribly worried about that or concerned about that. McAvoy's played really well since coming back. Yeah, and then goaltender-wise, Swayman 22, 12, and 7 with a 2.4 and a 9.21. Ullmark 7, 3, and 4 with a 2.4 and a 9.2. So getting good goalie play. And we've got some good performances from a statistical standpoint. So let's get Marchand back in the lineup. So we will dress him, and we will let's view. Is that what I wanted to do? No. I like the attributes. Who gets benched? Yeah, actually, I don't want to look at it this way. It's really hard. I want to look at it this way. So we got Marchand back out there. Is it Frederick? 6.8. Galchenyuk, 7.3. Steen? Yeah, it's Oscar Steen. All right, that's fine. So we will go back to tactics and get Mr. Marchand back out there. I'm going to put him there. So Marchand, Bergeron, DeBrusk, Hall, Krejci, Pastrnak, Zacha, Coyle, Smith, maybe. Let's try this. Let's try that. Smith can play the left wing. I don't know why he's not playing the left wing. But we'll go Krejci, Coyle, and Smith with Galchenyuk. Yeah, let's try that. And let's get Brad back out here on the On the power play, yeah, like that, I guess. Yeah, let's do that. All right. So we are a week away from the trade deadline. And I got some players that I'm potentially looking to move. So Galchenyuk is wanted by another team. Coyle's wanted by another team. Craig Smith is wanted by another team. T. Smith is wanted by a lot of different teams. Coyle is wanted by a lot of different teams. He doesn't want to leave. And I would like to bring Coyle back, but I don't want to pay him $7 million for 4 years. Not a 30-year-old Charlie Coyle. And then Galchenyuk is wanted by a lot. Yeah, so all these guys are wanted by a lot of teams. The issue is that when you just offer, like if I just offered Galchenyuk, we get a lot of offers, but none of them are any good. $28-year-old and a fourth for Galchenyuk. Colin Blackwell and 2/4. Justin Danforth, no. Joseph Ciccone, a third and a fourth. I mean, the third and the fourth isn't bad, but Ciccone's awful. Goudreau and Hickett. He's a pretty good offensive defenseman. Not very good defensively, but I already have a handful of those. Nashville wants to send us a second and a third. That's not terrible. New Jersey wants to send us Bastian, a third and a fourth. Nathan Bastian wouldn't be a bad fourth line guy. I mean, he's not going to score a lot of goals, but you know, he's very good defensively. Scout only has him listed at 1 star. Yeah, I mean, his hockey sense, his puck handling is bad. He's really good defensively. He's got good size and strength. I mean, it's a possibility. Rangers want to send us a second and a third. The Rangers are pretty good. Dylan Hetherington and 2/4. No. Philadelphia, Sandstrom's a goalie, right? Yeah, 26-year-old goalie, a third and a fourth. San Jose, Jacob Megna, 30-year-old. Like, I don't want. I wish there was the one thing it doesn't do that I wish it did is I wish you could say, you know, I'm offering or I want young players in return. You know, I want players under the age of 24 or whatever and see what sorts of deals you get that way. Brisebois, it doesn't look terrible. Haven't scouted him though, so we don't have an actual scouting report on him. And then Winnipeg wants to give us a second and a third. I mean, if we respond to this, yeah, they think that's a really bad deal. All right. And that's the problem. The one thing the game doesn't do is value draft picks. Like a second and a third for Galchenyuk, who we're not going to keep beyond this year, in reality is a pretty good deal. But our AI doesn't like it. So let's. Smith is somebody that had a lot of interest as well. See if the offers are any good. So a second and third from Anaheim, Josh Brown from Arizona, Sheehan and Jeremy Davies from Buffalo, Nikita Zadorov. No, I'm good. Chicago wants to give us Ian Mitchell, a 24-year-old defenseman who, again, not very good I mean, he's okay defensively, but he doesn't have good checking or hitting ratings. Colorado, Andreas Englund, no. There was one deal that was offered to me for Smith that I didn't. Emil Benstrom. A hockey sense. A puck handling. He's okay defensively. He's not terrible. He's 23 years old. Maybe. Hakan Pa'a is a 30-year-old defenseman. Robert Hogg, 28-year-old defenseman. It's not a bad deal from Columbus, and I might try to expand that a little bit more. Jacob Moverer, 3-star overall, good poise, good size and strength. He's good defensively. Again, that's not a terrible deal. Montreal wants to give us Montembeault and a couple of draft picks. New Jersey's still trying to give us Bastion. Ottawa still wants to give us Hetherington. Nudivara. Marcus Nudivara. No, I'm good. Carson Kuhlman. We could bring Carson back. I'm good with that, though. St. Louis wants to give us a couple of thirds. Toronto wants to give us a 26-year-old goalie. Nardella, a couple of picks. No. Winnipeg, Simon Lundmark. It's a 3-star potential. And Dylan Sandberg, a 24-year-old 3-star. So a couple of 3-star defensemen in exchange for Craig Smith. There was actually somebody that was it Winnipeg who had, it was, was it, where is he? Logan Stanley is somebody that they offered to me previously. And he's a pretty solid defensive. Yeah, I mean, if I could get like Stanley and Lundmark for Craig Smith. And then they also, well, let's gauge the interest. Seriously unbalanced. There was the game, for whatever reason, the game loves Derek Forbort. They think it's a bad deal. The AI loves it. So it's really strange why the game loves Forbort as much as they do. But let's just submit it and see what they say. The Emil Benstrom one is intriguing. I mean, he's only 2 stars. All right, we're going to sim ahead of day. Cancel there. Let's continue. Oh, and I did have a trade that I made, and I think it'll probably come back tomorrow as confirmed. I'll show you here in a minute, as soon as we get confirmation. You can see we get these every day, so notifications that Brendan Gallagher is on the block. Thomas Tatar has been the single biggest target in free agents or in the trade on the trade block here as we approach the deadline. Let's see if we win here. We don't. We lose 3-2. So Coyle and Marchand, but we lose. All right, so they rejected this deal. That's one we can go back and readdress. So we made this deal with Nashville. We traded David Ferentz, who had picked up in the offseason, to Nashville for a second and a third. So we will go ahead and make that trade. Let's go back and... So what do we have? I would love like a young forward. He's 28. He's not young. That's not the guy I was looking at. Or it was, but not the guy I wanted. Daniel Torgensen. Good size and strength. Good defensively. Adam Lowry. Henry Nikkanen. Doesn't have a great scoring touch or leadership, but looks pretty good otherwise. Yeah, I mean, his shot isn't great. Yeah, I don't know. Christian Reichel doesn't look all that great. Kevin Stenlund is 26-year-old. I mean, he's a defensive forward. I mean, for sure. Mason Appleton. I mean, I don't think I'm okay doing that. They think it's a fair offer. I'm not crazy about it. This deal doesn't do it. If we gauge this. So this would really improve our defense. If we did this, it would hurt us up the middle, but then maybe we could turn around and trade. I don't know. They'd pick up another center someplace else. But Craig Smith wants $7.5 million next season. He's 33 years old. I'm not okay with that. So let's do this. Logan Stanley for Craig Smith. And now let's go in and see what we can do about 8 offers for Forward, Jeremy Davies, and the rights to Vesvolod Komarov. Currently playing in Quebec. He's a 19-year-old, looks like defensive defenseman. Second and a fourth. Jacob Megna, no. 2/3, no. Tampa, a third and a fourth, no. Toronto, 2/4, and Washington, a second and a fourth. So I'm assuming they would hate this. Really bad deal for us, yep. And then I'm assuming they would hate this. Really bad deal for us. Really bad deal for us. And Buffalo wants to give us, yeah, I'm not interested in Davies. So I guess the other thing we can do is find a team who is interested in someone like Galchenyuk. Who wants Galchenyuk? Anaheim, Winnipeg, Carolina, Edmonton, San Jose, Tampa, and Washington. So let's go here. And let's talk to Washington. So they want Galchenyuk. So if we did Galchenyuk and Forbert, and we need a center, ideally a young center. Yeah, I mean, he's 5 stars. It's not going to have any interest. They're not going to have any interest in that, I don't think. But they think it's a really bad deal for us. I think it's a reasonable deal. Yeah, I think this is a reasonable deal. Connor McMichael, the AI doesn't like it, and if we make deals like this, a lot of times they'll come back to us and say, the front office is raging or the fans are raging or something like that. And I think it has something to do with the fact that they expect us to win. So making a move like this, that the AI feels like we are sacrificing something. Like we're sacrificing this year or something, our chances. And you can see the deals that some of the teams have other made. So like Nashville is offering Parsonen, 22-year-old, and a couple of draft picks for Chalowski. And Alexei Malinin, second and a fourth or 2 seconds for Gallagher and a second. That's quite a deal. And then Marshment, a second and 2/3 for Tatar. A second for Tatar and a second. That's a pretty dumb deal. This is the deal we made for Ferentz. See what sort of answer we get on that deal with Winnipeg for Craig Smith. All right, so we got a couple of offers from Anaheim. They're interested in Galchenyuk. They want to send us Bogosian and a fourth for Galchenyuk. I mean, we can turn around and talk about that. All right, so they accepted the deal. They rejected it because they're hesitant to acquire Derek Forbort. All right. Seriously unbalanced. So if I give you Galchenyuk and one of my thirds this year, all right, what if I give you Galchenyuk and who's a player you're interested in that I'm not? Dan Renouf? Well, it says you've got interest in him, so that's why I asked. What about Mark McLaughlin and Georgi Merkulov? I think he's overpaid. What if I added, I think I just did this, right? What if I add our third round pick? I don't think this offer is any good. We're just going to go ahead and offer it. All right, so Anaheim is interested in Galchenyuk, so let's talk to them. So who do you have that I would want? I want a center. Olivier Groulx looks okay. Maxime Comtois. I mean, they're not going to give me Maxime Comtois, but I mean, I can ask. So if I give you Galchenyuk and a third for Comtois. Let's see. Let's just try it. And let's respond here. I have no interest in Bogosian. I have no interest in a fourth. But, like, let's say you give me you don't have first-round picks at all. First-round pick a couple years down the road, and who? Who do I want? Four-star Gage Concalves. Declan McConnell. Little guy. Yeah, you don't have a lot from a prospect perspective. Who do they have that they don't have a lot of interest in? Yeah, I don't really have any interest in that deal with you guys. Let's look at our roster real quick and make sure we got Swayman out there. All right, we got a game coming up. Trade between Boston and Winnipeg to take place. We will make that deal. Is he on our team now, or do we have to wait until tomorrow? We have to wait. All right, and that now means that we can turn around and maybe look to trade Matt Grzelcyk, for example. But let's get Logan Stanley on side first. I am recording, right? I am, yes. All right, so that trade is confirmed. We are going to respond to Stanley. He's a core member, and we will set there. I'm going to have to redo some scouting here, which I'll do. I'll do next time, or I'll do offline. You guys have already seen me scout. It's like I got to get Andrew Dixon into a different location because there are no new players. All right, so roster. So we are going to bench Grzelcyk, I think. get Stanley out there. Stanley out there. Yeah, we have a really, really good a really, really good top four. So let's put Grizzlick on the block and let's see what sorts of interest we get for him. Okay, so we had that deal before. Brad Hunt, he's 34 years old. Robert Hogg, no. Edmonton, a second and a fourth. We don't really need any more draft picks this year. If they were like future firsts or something, then maybe. So Joe Hicketts and John Merrill. Merrill and Hicketts are both older, right? And then Pert is defenseman from St. Cloud State. Oh, they won his first and a second for that as well. Oof. Caden Gould, 3-star defenseman. He looks okay. He's drafted at number 16 overall in 2020. It's a possibility. 2/3 and a fourth from Nashville. Rangers want to give us a second and a third. Nudi Vara, no. Seattle wants to give us Kuhlman back still, desperately. 2/3. Philip Kral, 23-year-old defenseman, 3-star overall. He's an offensive-minded defenseman, which I don't really want to trade a defenseman for another defenseman. I mean, if that's the case, just keep Grizzlick. But yeah, I don't know. Like, they probably think this is terrible. Yeah. What about the other one? What about this one? I don't think this offer is any good for us. Okay. So we got a week until the deadline, right? 28th. All right, so we got a game tomorrow. So we still have a couple of days here where we can kind of sit on things. We obviously need to, make a decision here at some point. Ooh, Victor Arvidsson looking to move on from, what does his contract look like? Can we add... So what if we gave you Grizzlick and one of our thirds? No time for these lopsided offers. Okay. So what about... Grizzlick and Galchenyuk for Arvidsson? I mean, I'd be more than okay with that. So let's see what they say. Niles Lundqvist and a second for Tyler Seguin. They want to send us Niles Lundqvist and Ty Emberson for Galchenyuk. Lundqvist is somebody I had been looking at. So a couple of 3-star defensemen. I mean, that's not an awful deal. Like, I don't care about that and that. Let's delay and see if we can get that deal with the Kings first. Let's see if we get the win here. We don't. We lose again. We lose 4-1. Pasternak, the only goal of the game for us. We're not playing well. They don't want to part ways. Anaheim has withdrawn the trade offer. Okay. All right. I see you. Wait, what? Oh, right, because that's what I offered them. Right, that's what I offered them. Trying to figure out why, like, I would have jumped on that offer. And I would have jumped on it because I made the offer. So that makes sense. $26 messages. All right. They They are hesitant to give up a key player. All right, but that doesn't mean they won't. That doesn't mean they won't. What if I give you second round pick? Okay, what if I give you, who's a player you have interest in? Of course, like Galchenyuk, Forbert Clifton. You want Cliffy Hockey? I mean, all right, let's offer that. Let's offer that. Tyler Bertuzzi. There goes Thomas Tatar. All right. So they want to give us Gabriel Carlson, who I have zero interest in. The rights to Brent Johnson, a 19-year-old out of South Dakota who looks pretty good, and a second-round pick for Galchenyuk, and the rights to Mason Langenbrunner. I mean, that's one I would discuss. Edmonton, Slater, Kukuk. Kukuk? Is that what it is? Kukuk? I'm going to reject that. Nashville, no. This deal is at least interesting. Let's respond. Let's remove. I have no interest in him. No interest in him. Brent Johnson, yeah, meh. All right, so let's go back here, and I guess let's just offer Coyle and see what sorts of offers we get as we get close. So a second-round pick for Coyle from Arizona. Riley Sheehan in a fourth. Blackwell, no. Columbus, Eric Robinson, no. 2 fourths. Frederick Gaudreau, nope. Bastion, yeah, it's all players that have been offered before that I don't really have any interest in. Riley McKay is a terrible offensive player. All right, let's sim. We're closing in on the deadline here, so it might end up just being Logan Stanley. Let's sim our second game with Logan, see if we can finally win. No, we lose again. We lose our third straight game. We're still in 6th place, but that's tenuous at this point. All right, so Toronto has a new head coach. Niles Lundqvist for Galchenyuk straight up. No, I don't like that one. I'm really hoping we can get Arvidsson. Yeah, meh. He looks all right, but all right, let's keep going. I can't pay Charlie Coyle $7 million. That's the problem. So I'm hoping we get a positive answer to that Los Angeles trade offer here on this day. Okay, so they just don't want to give up Arvidsson unless they traded him someplace else. Winnipeg Sandberg. He's an average defenseman, and so is Lundmark, right? Yeah, I don't want to just make trades defenseman for defenseman. That doesn't do anything for me. Prokop, yeah, I mean, he looks okay. Herbix. Why is every team offering me defenseman? Gabriel Carlson. Yeah, every team is offering me defenseman, and I'm not interested in defenseman. We might have just made our final deal. I'm not really sure what the alternative is here. Galchenyuk, I feel like has to go. Carolina, Chicago, San Jose. All right, so Carolina, Chicago, San Jose. That's not where I want to go. I want to go here. Start with Carolina. So you guys want Alex Galchenyuk. Wonderful. You can have him. And in return, I want Andrei Svechnikov. That's not going to happen. Kotkaniemi, it wouldn't be bad if not for the absurd contract. It's just a ridiculous contract. Alexander Pashin. Suzuki. Mackenzie McEachern. I don't have any scouting on him. All right, so let's cancel. Let's go to Chicago. So you can see trading in this is not easy. It's not easy at all, which is fine. I mean, that's the way I like it, but it's not easy. Jesper Boqvist. You consider Boqvist a really interesting? Okay, all right. I mean, it is what it is, but you consider him a franchise type player, do you now? All right. Taylor Reddish, Josiah Slavin, Adam Ruzicka. They picked up a defenseman off of waivers that I really wanted. I don't remember who it was. Gustav Forsling. Yeah, they picked up Forsling off of waivers. He was somebody I really wanted, but all right, let's just one more time. Yeah, these are just not good deals. I was kind of hoping that as we got closer to the deadline that teams would offer us something a little better. 2 seconds for Galchenyuk is not terrible. Third and a third, third and a fourth. Eric Kallgren, goalie. I'm going to go back and talk to New York because it feels like New York is willing to give up a lot for him. They think it's a really bad deal, but can we get... It's the wrong team. Can we get... Yeah, I'm kind of thinking a little outside of reality here. I'm trying to get Philip Keitel. It's not going to happen. What about the rights? What if we have who do they have that we can get the rights to? 3-star goalie. Two-way forward, third line potential, all around center, Jaden Gruby. And he's still got a ways to go, but he's good from a checking perspective right now. They consider him a franchise player. Okay. if I remove that and add next year's first? And a first and a second for Galchenyuk feels like a good deal. They've been trying to give me Lundqvist. I'm going to offer it. I mean, and we'll see what happens. And another loss. At least this time it was an OT loss, so we get a point. But that's 3 straight losses, so we are at the deadline now. Dallas fires their head coach. We lose Krejci for a couple of days. Wow, they sent a lot to the Rangers or to Montreal for Mike Hoffman. Matthew Robertson, a 4-star. $75 messages. We'll go back and we'll take a look at all the trades here in a minute. I just want to see if anything that I've offered. Slater Kukuc, no. Reject that. Washington, Gabriel Carlson, Martin Haas. No. Ian Mitchell, Connor Kelly, and a 4th. Ian Mitchell's not young, right? He's 24. Offensive-minded defenseman. Not interested in. Let's read all. We got one message that we have to respond to. It was a trade offer, I believe, right? Yeah. Rangers. So the Rangers wanted, let's do it this way. So the Rangers wanted Galchenyuk. And the Rangers want Grzelcyk. So let's start there. And I want your first next season. I want your second this season. And I want I mean, it's not going to happen, but all right, let's try again. Okay. So can I get this done without, or can I get something back that is worth it? So Lundqvist isn't terrible, but I'd rather have forward depth. Capo Caco. I love Capo Caco. Yes, sir. I'd love him. This may just not happen. So what about just the first and the second? Okay, it's already been rejected. All right. So what if we give you one of our thirds? They think it's a really bad deal. And that's the problem, is that as soon as I submit this, I'm going to get hammered by our scouting or by our front office. But Galchenyuk's just not any. I mean, he's fine, but we're just gonna offer it. It's rejected. I don't have to suit their needs. All right, so let's try the third. All right. So Galchenyuk in a third next season for a first and a second next season. The game's gonna hate it. The fans are gonna be pissed. The owners are gonna be pissed. But we're gonna make the deal. Yeah. See, fans rage. Board is angry. All right. So we make that deal. Anybody else we want to move? We got to call somebody up from Providence. Who's playing well? Merkelov, Lauko? Yeah, let's give Lauko a shot. Let's recall him. Let's go back to our front office and Grzelcyk. Who wants Grzelcyk? Winnipeg. Let's talk to who? Talk to San Jose. They wanted him. What can we get from the Sharks? We're not gonna get any, we're not gonna be able to get any of these guys. No trade clause, untouchable. They're trying to give us Nudi Vara. I'm not interested in that. Defenseman. I mean, I guess defenseman for defenseman isn't the worst thing in the world, but you know, let's go. Let's talk to Los Angeles because I really want. If he was on the trade block, I want him. So let's put Arvids. Let's see if we can make this deal work. So if we give you Grzelcyk, it's obviously not enough, but we give you Grzelcyk and New York's first next season. They don't like the sound of that offer, but maybe I can make them like the sound of it. So what about all right, so why didn't they like it? They don't want Derek Forbort. Okay, fine. Grzelcyk and Berglund? They're hesitant to give up Victor Arvidsson, which I understand, but can I give you any more draft picks? Rejected. All right, let's remove that. Let's remove that. Who are they interested in? Stanley, Lauko, Hall, Zaboral? Okay, they could definitely consider this offer. What if I remove him? I think we're getting there. I mean, I am fine with that. He's got a 3-year contract. We're giving up 3 defensemen, 3 3-star defensemen. If I can do this without giving up Berglund. They're not sure if the offer is any good. So what if I do this? If I remove that, I put the second back in there, I give you one of our thirds from this season. Add player, add Berglund. Can I make this work? Is there another player that they're interested in that I'm willing to give up? It doesn't really look like it. It's a bunch of 3 stars, but Carlo, maybe? No. McAvoy, Lindholm, Stanley, and Carlo is our top 6. We've got a really, really good top 6. Or top 4, rather. And then we've got plenty of help on the back end. We've got Aho as our 5th. I mean, we've got plenty of defense on our back 6. I mean, so Grzelcyk, Berglund, Zaboral, and a 2nd-round pick for Victor Arvidsson. I'm going to make the offer. All right. And the fans are angry again, but that is fine. So we now have Victor Arvidsson. He is, let's set his status. He's a key player. And I think we need to call up a defenseman. Or do we just, no, we just go with Forbort. And Lauko. We do need to call up a 7th defenseman, though. Who do we want to call up? Ashan? And I think we call up Clifton because he is the most ready to go. So we can now go to our tactics and get Arvidsson out there. He's the left wing / right wing, so I think we just stick him right on that top line. Lauko, I think we're going to put on the 3rd line. Krejci will put on the 4th. We will put Forbort in as our 3rd. Hall, Coyle. No, it's not what I wanted to do. I want to do that. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to do that. And then Arvidsson on the top line with Marchand and Zacha as our 2nd line center, I suppose. So we are going to need to figure out our center depth next season, but I'm okay with that for right now. Pastrnak and Bergeron. No, I don't want Pastrnak on the PK. Bergeron. No, not Studnicka either. Arvidsson. All right. So that is that. We are at the trade deadline. Made a couple of deals. Our fans aren't happy. Our board isn't happy, but I think we did okay. We pick up a 1st and a 2nd for Galchenyuk and a 3rd. We then turned around and traded that 2nd along with 3 defensemen who are depth essentially for Victor Arvidsson. And that is going to do it for this episode, guys. When we come back, it will be the playoffs, and we will sim the playoffs. So let me know your thoughts. I mean, that's trading in this game is not easy. Let me know what you think of the deals I made, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.